Hello everybody, welcome to Sports Federation TV. It's our second show of the week, and as you know, Sports Federation TV caters for the various federations in the Western Cape. And of course we look after the districts as well. For those of you that are still not aware of it, and by now I'm pretty sure everybody knows, we are made up of 6 different districts, from Eden, which is of course the old SVD, Cape Town, which is the old Western Province, and Cape Winelands, which is the old Boerland, and then there's Central Karoo and West Coast, and of course the Overberg. So those are 6 districts which make up the Western Cape. And you'll find them on the map, and the municipal boundaries will be in place, and you'll find all our various different districts there. But essentially we look after the various federations in the Western Cape. Big thank you to Bashoes that is on board with Sports Federation TV and the Western Cape Confederation. For those of you that haven't tasted the Bashoes yet, it's one of the oldest cool drinks in the country. It's been around since 1899. A little bit later in the show, I'll give you an opportunity to win yourself a case of Bashoes. And they're not going to be coming around to your house with a truck, though. Like, oh, trokkie wat verbygekom het. Not this time around. You just simply SMS, and you might stand a chance to win a case of Bashoes. Right, tonight we'll be talking about what's happening in the world of diving. I think it's one of the first times we've had diving on. Tug of War is back at it, and of course we'll speak to Wayne Waits from Wexer, is the general manager of the Western Cape Sports Academy. We'll find out what's happening at the academy there. But right now, to kick off the show, it's time for us to speak to Chris Naude again, who's of course the president of Western Cape Climbing. Chris and Tony Lawrence, the publisher of SA Mountain magazine, has joined us here in the studio. We're talking about climbing, big events coming up at Rockmaster here at City Rock in the next couple of weeks. Chris, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks, JP. It's nice to be back, and it's nice to have Tony here for a change instead of one of our climbers.
Yeah. Thanks, first time for you on the show this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Tony, welcome. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, and it's nice to be here. That's
so, Tony, I mean, you're obviously deeply entrenched. We always talk to Chris about the admin side of things, you know, how they're doing with transformation and how the athletes are doing. But you're the publisher of SA Mountain magazine. You're obviously like really covering it all in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, I try and stay away from all the admin stuff. I actually like to just climb, and I like to talk about climbing and publish the magazine, and also write some guidebooks on the climbing in and around the Western Cape, the Table Mountain and the Cederberg, etc. And the other thing I do is I organize Rockmaster, the climbing competition that takes place once a year. That's
well, if you had been here yesterday this time, you would have bumped into Jeff Aliff.
I know Jeff very well.
He's a good
friend of mine.
The two of you, I'm sure, would, if all of you guys would obviously in this circle.
Not stop talking.
Yes, not stop talking. Oh, it's a good thing. So you're publisher of SA Mountain magazine and the organizer of Rockmaster.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about what is Rockmaster.
Rockmaster is an event that I organize once a year. As I said, it's an event that only the top climbers in South Africa are invited to, so you can't apply to climb in a like an age category. It's just an open category where you climb, and it's not a knockout either. So you just climb once, and you either come in or you lose. And
so it sounds like quite a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah, I think for the for the spectators, it's fun, and for the people who climb, it's fun. To organize it, I don't know about fun, but it's, it's quite stressful.
But these events, I mean, no
problem. What it is.
No well-run event though is not stressful. I mean, it takes about 3 weeks generally. I've kind of worked this out. It takes about 3 weeks to unwind after the event.
Yeah, you're right.
We all say we're going to unwind just after the event. A quick unwind session, but no, you've got to really
training.
It takes you a while to. Chris, from your side, I mean, you're talking about some. It certainly sounds like Tony's got some elite athletes taking place here. How do you guys, as the confederation? I mean, sorry, not as a confederation, but as Western Cape Climbing. How do you connect with Rockmaster?
I mean, up until this year, it's been very a loose connection. I mean, all the climbers that climb there are also members of our federation and so on. So that connection is fairly obvious. This year we've tried to make it a little bit more structured in that the climbs we'll be auditing the climbs and what have you, so that if we need to use the results for selections in international competitions, we have some further information in terms of climbers' abilities and so on.
So do you guys then communicate with each other in terms of the mapping of the routes and the type of degrees of standards that you need to make sure Rockmaster has, so it ties together with you.
Absolutely. I mean, Tony's been very good about communicating with us, and also the route setters that work for
it's
the
not just
the
a
gyms.
random route.
So
No,
it's a fairly new sport in this country, and the standards are quite hard to determine sometimes. So we try and rope in all the experts, regardless of who they work for.
I mean,
whether
I could
they're
go
a federation or
I could go down the road and put on an event called Rockmaster, but it wouldn't be legitimate. It would be completely me having someone climb up a rock wall or whatever. Whereas,
and it would be great.
Tony, your event is obviously structured according to certain criteria.
It is actually. We get the top route setters to set the routes specifically for the event, so the routes will get harder as as you go higher. So it's got good spectator value as well. So the climbers aren't set a route where it's really hard, in the start, so they all fall off in the beginning, which actually will make the event quite boring. So it's well thought out routes that are set for the climbers.
It's one of the primary things in setting a long lead route is to try and get the route setter's job is to try and make people fall off at different points.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they will all fall off at some point.
All right.
But you want the person who wins gets the highest, and then you want everybody separated down. You don't want to have one move which is really difficult, and everybody falls off.
But within
at that
reason,
move.
obviously. I mean, they're not spraying Q20 on certain specific spots.
It's the moves. I mean, it's the moves on the wall. So so the holes are smaller.
Yes.
They are like set further apart. So and then it's harder to move from one set of holes to the next set of holes.
Now you mentioned spectator value.
Yes.
Now, of course, we all know that City Rock, the Cape Town destination, has now moved from Observatory to Pardon Island.
Yes.
There's a new facility. So spectator, when we talk about spectator value, you're talking about the fact that more people can come and watch. Potentially, maybe it's got some good media spin-offs around it. How are you seeing the spectator value tie into it?
Well, the thing is, first of all, it's about 4 times the size of the old gym, so you can get a lot more people in. The walls are much higher.
Yeah.
They're much more spectacular. They are curved. There's roofs, arches, and all sorts of wonderful things. So for spectators to watch the climbers on these wonderful high new walls will be really, really great. There's nice food. There's drinks. How do you?
I'm not sure exactly what the right word would be. And this is why we need the guys from Scrabble, who's of course one of the federations as well, because they generally will be able to correct me when it comes to my terminology. So how would the spectators spectate the event? Is it just stand around or
sit around?
Are there grandstands or anything like that?
No. There'll be chairs and some seating on it, but they can sit on the
climbing, you guys
on
are
the
so
ground,
chilled.
which is quite thick, spongy ground. So people can just sit wherever they want.
Sounds a little bit like Kirstenbosch.
A little bit like Kirsten.
Not that I've ever been to
but indoors. Indoors.
Yeah.
And
all right,
the grass.
let's just talk about a little bit here on the sport itself. After all, as a federation, Chris, the Olympics is coming up. Climbing is now one of the top 5, one of the 5 sports that's now made it into the Olympics, together with karate and one or two others. The Youth Olympics is also coming up.
Yep.
So there's some serious competition planning here.
I think that's one of the things that makes this also exciting from a spectator point of view, is that we now this Rockmasters is the first one that's going to be run in the Olympic format, and the Olympic format basically means that we have 3 different disciplines of climbing, which is speed climbing, bouldering, and lead climbing, and all 3 of those are had on the same day. So the competitors are really challenged now because they've got to do their speed climbing bit, and then immediately after that they go and do their bouldering thing, which normally is enough for one person on one day on its own.
Yeah, they've got to do all of it now.
And then when they finish that, they have to do 2 long lead routes, which is really a bit like a triathlon in mountain climbing. And the speed climbing, although it's been serious climbers don't really regard speed climbing as the same thing. It's not really climbing. but it is really exciting from a spectator point of view because it's easy to see who's winning.
Yeah.
And the guys who are trying it now on this new speed wall are coming off and saying, well, it's not really climbing, but it's such fun, you know.
Really?
And it's actually
Yeah.
it's got another whole element.
And you've
to
got
it,
a couple of athletes that are coming from the other parts of the country as well.
Yeah, we got about 6 guys from Gauteng and about 4 or 5 girls also from Gauteng, and we got 1 from KZN, and the rest are from the Western Cape.
So, Chris, these guys that are coming from the other provinces, you say from a provincial perspective in the Western Cape, you're auditing this. Will their results from the other provinces give them credit for the...
So not specifically, because our national selections policy is that this happens at a selections competition. But in the event where it's too close, and you want to look back and see other performance data,
you've got this criteria,
then we've got
that
this
conforms
actually standard and meets all the requirements of the SANCF, the National Federation, in terms of those requirements. So Tony used in last year's national championships and what have you to kind of select the climbers who were invited. So there's a tie in there, and then we're feeding it back now, so that we'll feed the results back to the National Federation as well.
Let's go back to Rock Masters here now. When is the event?
It's on the 10th of February, which is next week.
Next week, and
Saturday.
And for folks that want to come and watch the event or find out more, where is it? Their website, Facebook pages? How do we really get into it?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's all of that, and there's.
Or do I have to buy a copy of SM Mountain?
Twitter, well, that as well, of course. Everybody must buy a copy of SM Mountain, but we put it out on a whole lot of, social media.
Okay. Is it entry fee? Entry fee. I mean, if you want to, it's in Pardon Island.
It's free. It's free for everybody.
Really?
For the entrants who climb and for the spectators, it's free. So people can just come, and it's great for families, kids, and people who want to get into climbing to come see what it's all about. It's great to come watch. A lot of fun.
Of course, we recommend everyone brings their own water.
Always.
They're in a water system. How is, Chris, from a climbing perspective, I know you're not a massive organization, but I'm going to be asking every federation we interview, and we obviously have got some own measures from a confederation perspective, but any discussions that you guys are having with your athletes, guys? I mean, you guys are very connected with the environment. You're out there all the time. You're climbing the mountain. I mean, it must be... there must be some sort of affinity. I mean, it's a tragedy at the moment.
No, it's terrible. We haven't directly engaged with our climbers on the water saving thing, other than from our personal perspective, where we kind of share ideas and how can we save water, and trying to sort of shame the people who putting new lawns in their gardens and things like that.
Well, you can go climb on their trees or something. Look, I suppose
but of course,
that's
hiking. You're always conscious of water and how precious it is. You carry what, to a large extent, you carry what you have access to, unless you happen to be in an area where there is some.
Well, I suppose as long as we're all sharing the information. Tony, any last words from your side in terms of Rockmaster, or what you'd like to tell the viewers out there?
No, I just like them to come and have a look and see what it's all about. I think it'll be a really good event. And as Chris said, it's the first time we're having all 3 formats of the
all 3 disciplines.
In the event, and it'll be I think it'll be a great show. They must come and have a look.
And I'd encourage them to if they see either Tony or myself there, is to come and chat to us and ask us what's going on.
Well, it's getting to that point now that they're going to come and ask you for your autograph. You've been on this TV show so many times.
Tell them to go to Chris. I'll be too busy on the day.
The event organisers are going to have a hands full. So hopefully this goes well, and I mean, I'm assuming that Rockmaster itself is always looking for different venues and destinations, and sounds like we've got you hooked now.
A Rockmaster would like to go really big and have a big outdoor venue at the V&A, but that costs an absolute arm and a leg. But we are very fortunate.
There are any big sponsors out there that would like to
give us $1 million or $2 million.
Sponsorship
$1 million or $2 million, is that what we need?
Something
All
like
right,
that.
folks, there you have it. We need 1 million or 2 if you're watching right now. Just get all of us on Facebook on Sports Federation TV. 1 million or 2 for Rock Masters. Most CEOs out there, I know that you can just write a check. It's fairly easy. So we can give it a Rock Masters, and then we can go and put on a big event here in Cape Town. Don't forget to go and buy the SA Mountain magazine. Where do we buy it if we need it?
You can get it at all independent outdoor shops, exclusives as well, exclusive books, and some CNAs around the country.
CNAs.
Yeah.
All right. The rest of the CNA is obviously going to have to catch a wake up.
Yeah.
Chris, from your side, from our side here, thanks very much for joining us. We're looking forward to seeing how our Western Cape athletes do at this event.
Yeah.
And,
well, we've got one represented in the Youth Olympics and one girl from Gauteng, and they are the African continent representatives at the
Olympic
at the
David
Youth
Naude.
Olympics.
I wonder who that is.
I wonder who that is. Yeah, there's a lot of Naudeas involved here tonight. All right, incidentally, no relation whatsoever. But of course, from a Western Cape perspective, we're immensely proud of the fact that we've got a provincial Western Cape athlete going to the Olympics. So that's fantastic. So well done.
No, it's really cool. Thank you.
And Tony, good luck for
Thanks
Rock
very much.
Masters. I'm unfortunately going to be at a Sascock AGM, so I won't be able to attend. So we expect
The whole day.
Pretty much the whole day. Yeah, we'll be deciding your future there.
Okay.
So I think it's important that we're there. But we expect lots of photographs and lots of videos.
You will.
So
There
that
will be.
we can review the event. And we look
We've
forward
got a
to
very
having
good guy on board who's doing the movie bits and things.
Well, get him to
Good.
send us the videos, and we'll definitely put it back on the show and
Excellent.
show everybody.
Thank you.
All the more reason why you should get 1 or 2 million rand sponsorship.
Yeah.
We leave it at that, guys. Thanks for joining us
Thanks
here on
very
Federation TV. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks.
JP.
Right, folks. Sports Federation TV, as you know, all the best of sport at home. Not just the best of sport, all sport in the Western Cape. We'll cover it. When we come back, we'll still be taking a look at what's happening in the world of diving, tug of war, and we'll speak to Wayne Waits, the general manager of WEXA, the High Performance Academy here in the Confederation and government structures. Back after the break.